Hello, hello, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Happy Monday. Hopefully you had a great weekend. It was Easter weekend, and hopefully you had a good time connecting with family, friends, connecting to faith, and just being out in the community. And hopefully you had a good Monday. As you see, we are not live tonight. We're pre-recorded, and I just wanted to make sure that we have something in this space to continue our process of educating, empowering, and encouraging you as we're off spending some time with the family. We actually had a funeral that we are attending, and so wanted to make sure that we went ahead and did something here in this space, in our encouragement, our education, and in our empowerment. You know, education is so important, and so many different things that we do in our space in terms of education. Sometimes we talk about sleep, sometimes we talk about mindset, sometimes we talk about health. And tonight we're talking specifically about mindset and how our thoughts and our beliefs can affect what we do. Have you ever stopped to think about the power of your thoughts and your beliefs? We tend to underestimate their impact in our lives, but undeniably they are significant. From a young age, we are programmed, we are conditioned to believe certain things, and these things have a direct effect on how we feel and how we behave. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, our thought process and how it can affect what we do. If you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. Remember, we're always creating the life we want. If you're new to me, go ahead and as this is playing, put new in the comments. Let us know that you're here. And if you have questions, put those in the comments as well. And when I get back, I will be looking at those to make sure that we are taking care of all of your questions and answering those. We are in the month of March, and there are so many things that we've done. Let me hop over here to our let's see if I get there we go. This is our channel, and I always continue to promote that we've done the Diabetes 101. Remember, we did that back in November. We did the how designing a new you, right? That's the top of the screen there. And so many other videos that we've done throughout the course of the last 2.5 years, y'all. That's how long we've been. This summer is going to be 3 years. So make sure that you get over there. Make sure you get and watch those videos. We have so many things that, we have chronic illnesses that we suffer from. We have people who are suffering from behavioral and mental issues. We have people who are stuck in a particular part of their life. And on the channel, we've done a good job of going and touching many of those areas. And we continue to provide more offerings, more videos, more resources for you to be able to get unstuck. And that's what we want to do. We want to get unstuck. And we are taking 2023 as the time when we're doing that, right? So we're no longer allowing things to happen to us. We are taking charge of our health and our mental health, our physical health, and our emotional health. We're taking charge of our lives. As we get into this quarter, right? This is the second quarter of the year. And remember, we've been talking about how do we go about managing the things that we want to do. We took the first quarter, we came into the quarter, we had some things that we wanted to do in our lives. I mean, when you say we, all of us, right? You had a book, you had a relationship, you had a house, you had a business, you had a podcast, you had a video, you had something that you wanted to do. You wanted to learn an instrument. And we planned that we were going to do that as we got into the first quarter coming out of last year. And some of us may have fallen behind, right? Some of us are right on target, and some of us have to now look at what we're doing as we get into the last 3 quarters, right? So we got 3 more quarters for this year so that we can get that done. Okay, so remember, we're taking this time now to begin to work on that. So let's hop into what we're going to be talking about tonight. And we're talking about thought process. We're talking about the thought process. And this is actually something that I got from a lady by the name of Brooke Castile. And you can go on her channel. Amazing woman. She is a coach and has a huge following. She is doing some wonderful stuff. So this is not anything that's new to me, nothing that I've come up with, but the thought process is something that makes sense, right? And she tells the story, you can hear her story about listening and hearing so many people talking about getting unstuck, coaches and therapists and, lots of folks, and realizing that there were some very significant and very common themes among all the things that were being taught. And so she came up with this thing, the model, okay? And what it says is essentially this, that everything that happens to us is simply an event. Anything that happens in the world is an event. It has no meaning unless we attach a thought to it. Let me say that again. There are things that go on in the world that we may intersect with, that happen in our lives. And that event really has no meaning unless we attach a thought to it. Once a thought is attached to it, then we have a feeling about it. And that feeling drives how we behave. And how we behave dictates the results that we get in our lives. Yeah. So everything that happens to us has no meaning unless we attach a thought. When we attach a thought, we have a feeling about it. When we have a feeling, then we behave a certain way. And once we behave a certain way, then we have a particular result that comes about from our behavior. Okay, so let's kind of walk through those all together. And shout out to you, Brooke. Thank you for all that you're doing. So event. Let's talk about events. So things that happen. Okay, you fail an exam. You lose a job. You have a relationship that doesn't go the way you want it to go, right? You start a business and the business doesn't succeed. You write a book and the book doesn't take off. Nobody buys the book, right? So all of these things that happen in our lives are events. They are facts, right? The business did not succeed. The book did not succeed. The relationship broke up. All of those are facts. They are things that happen, and they're things that happen to us. Yes, it is our book. It is our business. It is our relationship, right? So all those things continue to happen, but they have no meaning yet. They are just facts of life. It's not until we begin to attach some thought to it that it then happens. Then it then has a meaning. Okay. So let's take one of those. So let's take the book. Okay. The book is near and dear to your heart. You have spent time writing it. You've spent hours. You've poured into it. Right? And it's a part of who you are. And you got it together, you got it published, and it's out there now. And it's not succeeding. It's not going the way you want it to go. Okay? And the fact is, the data, the piece of data is that I have a book that's out and nobody's bought the book. That's the data. It's a piece of information. It by itself does not cause pain. It by itself does not cause any angst. It by itself, that piece of data that the book has not sold, nobody's bought the book, does not have any way to harm you. Okay? So the book itself. So that's the event. Now, our thought about the book, man, I put all my time into it. Man, nobody's buying the book. So that means that They must not like me. Oh man, nobody bought the book because that means that book is terrible. That means that I could never write another book again. See what's happening? So our thoughts, our beliefs about it have changed the fact that, okay, nobody bought this book. And nobody bought the book yet. And this may not be nobody. It may be like you expected 1 million people to buy it and 100 people bought it. Okay? So our beliefs about it. Now, where do beliefs come from? That's an interesting one. Where do we get the beliefs about certain things in our lives and in our society? Well, a lot of it comes from our family of origin, right? Our family of origin. Because as we grow up, the way our families behaved and believed about things are the ways that we behaved and believed about things. The way we interacted with the world. If you grew up in a family where money was always tight and everybody was always pinching money, then you grew up believing something about money. Right? So I grew up in my family and we didn't have a lot of money. But I never really heard a lot of conversation about the hardship of money, of not having money. So in my life, I don't stress if I don't have money. Right? Because the belief is that there's going to be money. And even if I don't have money in my hand right now, I'm going to get some money. So my belief comes from the family. It comes from my friends. Right? Because we tend to cluster, we tend to be in circle with people who have like beliefs and like lifestyles. So how our friends believe about something is what we believe. How our friends believe what they think about a certain political view or a certain religious view or a certain person is what we adopt because that's the circle that we're in. We also get beliefs from get beliefs from our past experiences, our world experience. As we left our home, our family of origin, and we moved out into the world, then those beliefs that we experienced as we were out there, we adopted those. So we left our family of origin and we went out into the world. And we may have interacted with some people, a group that was mean. They were, they didn't have good beliefs. They didn't have good beliefs, and so we interact with it and say, "Hey, no, I don't. That's not how I'm going to react. That's not how I'm going to believe. I'm not going to accept that." We also get beliefs from our education. So as we go through our educational system, we pick up certain beliefs. And so those beliefs now affect what we do. At any particular moment, going back to these events, at any particular moment, there are thousands of signals, right, that are coming at us from lots of different places. And so we're always in our minds, right, evaluating and cataloging those events that we're seeing. And it is our beliefs that help us to determine what to do with those things. All right, so remember, the event happens, something in the world, something in your life. Your belief about it determines what that means. Right? So it's not until you put that belief onto that event that now it has a meaning. And that meaning then dictates how we feel. Right? So feelings are an interesting group. And sometimes we don't even know how we feel, right? I know there are many times where my wife said, "Well, what do you think? What do you feel about that? Or what's your feel?" I say, "I don't really know. There's a bunch of stuff happening." And so at one point, we even had feeling words that we had on the refrigerator, right? So feelings, an emotional state or reaction, a feeling. So admiration is a feeling. Appreciation, amusement, anger, anxiety, awe, boredom, calmness, confusion, disgust. Those are all feelings. Pain. All of those are feelings. Relief, sadness, satisfaction, surprise, all feelings. So the book, going back to our book example, the book was published and nobody bought it. A fact. If you attach to that a meaning that, okay, they didn't buy the book, so they don't like me personally, right? They didn't like me. Not that the book didn't sell, but they don't like me. That's the meaning that you've given to it. What emotions do you think that will get you? What emotions come up, right? So there's anxiety that can come up. There's anger that can come up. There's pain that can come up. There's fear, right? That, okay, what does that mean? All of those things are in our emotions. And so if I'm angry, I behave a particular way. If I'm sad, if I'm depressed, I behave a particular way. If I'm anxious, I behave a particular way. So notice that all of those feelings come as a direct result of the meaning that I placed on this event that happened. Yeah, we do that in our minds. We have the ability to do that. So we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about, yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Okay? So now we got that feeling. And what does the feeling make us do? Because we believe a certain thing and we have a particular feeling, now we behave a certain way. So because we think that, so we said, okay, the book didn't sell, and the meaning we've attached to it is that people don't like me. Now we're anxious, we're depressed. And that causes us, behavior now, that causes us not to write another book. That causes us not to promote the book. That causes us not to talk about the book. That causes us to retract the book. That's the behavior. That's what we do. That's how we, that's the action that we take as a result of the feeling that we had. Yeah. So we shut down, in this example, we shut down, we become depressed, we pull away, we're not out talking about the book. And so what is the result now that you think that happens? Remember, our results come from the action that we take. So for sure now that we're depressed and we've pulled back, we are withdrawn, we're not promoting our book, then nobody else buys the book. And so the result is that the book, quote unquote, fails. You see that? See where we started and where we got to? So there was no meaning to the book having not had anybody buy it. So let's go back to that example. Okay, let's go back to that example. Let's walk through it a little differently. So let's assume that we did sell that book, or we did publish that book, and nobody bought the book. Same thing. But the thought, the belief that we attach to it is not that, okay, nobody likes me. Let's assume that we attach to it that, okay, the book didn't sell, I need to promote it more. And if I promote it, it will succeed. So that's the belief that we attach to it. Now, our feeling about that is excitement, because what do we have to do? We're getting out there now, and we're everybody we see, we're telling about this book. We got it on our social posts, social media posts. You know, we go on podcasts, we go on YouTube channels. We're telling about it. We go to churches. We talk about the book. Right? We talk to all of our friends, get them to buy a book. Right? Because they're supporting me now. Because I'm excited about it and I have anticipation about it. So that's the feeling now. And so action, all the things I talked about, we're on the podcast, we're on, all over the place. We got billboards, we got our friends buying it. That's the action that we take. And what's the result? The result now is that people are buying the book. And people are telling other people about the book. Notice the change in the result based on the belief, based on the thought that we attached to the event. So let's go back and let's use a different example. So you're in a relationship and you come home one day and your significant other has left you a note that says, hey, we're done. We're over. That's the event. And that event, and let me hop forward a few and say that the event can be painful based on our thought. Okay? It's going to be painful. Let's talk about it. So the event happened, you come home, you find a note. And the note says, okay, bye-bye. In of itself, that note does not have a meaning yet. I know. Bear with me. It is an event. It is something that happened. Now, the meaning that I attach to it now dictates what happens in the future. So the meaning that I attach to it can be, wow, I am a bad person. Wow, nobody wants me. Wow, the world doesn't like me. I am not loved. I'm by myself. That's the meaning that we attach to it. Now, as we're going through this, I'm going to tell you, sometimes it is difficult to walk through this process. And we try to walk through the process sometimes in the middle. We get the note, and right then we try to walk through the process. Sometimes we got to absorb that we got this note. But we don't stay there. Because that meaning that we just put to it, that I am not lovable, nobody wants me, I'm alone, all of those things cause us to go into depression, the anxiety, buffering behavior, which is things that we do to soothe ourselves. And those things cause us to take actions. And the actions that we take are we pull away, we withdraw, we don't talk to people, we don't hang out with our friends. And the result is that we spend a longer time in the process of recovering from that breakup. We don't allow the people in our lives who are still in our lives to come alongside us to help us through. So we deny them the benefit of being a friend to us. And because we've withdrawn, we've pulled away, nobody's in our circle, nobody's there to encourage us, we become depressed, we stay up late at night watching TV, we eat, we put on weight, and we have that self-fulfilling, well, nobody really likes me, right? So now we're not in any social circle. Notice what happened. The note did not mean anything until we attached a meaning to it. And that meaning drove our actions, well, our feelings, our actions, and then our results. So as we're talking about this model then, we are able to get a particular result based on our thoughts. Because once we have a thought about something, everything else comes automatically. Whatever thought you attach to it, the feeling's going to come from that, the actions that come from that, and the result are going to come from that. So of the things that are in that model, what thing can we change? What thing do we have the best power to change? And that is our thought. And that's why it's so important that we work on having positive thoughts. And I'm not talking about, this, what do they call it? This, of course, as soon as I said that, the word went out of my mouth, my head. This toxic positivity, I think is what it's called. I'm not talking about, everybody be happy all the time. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we have to strengthen our thoughts. We have to develop our thoughts. We have to inform our thoughts so that when we do get into the situation where an event happens, our thought processes are so expansive that we can then attach to the event the thought that we want to happen, the thought that we want to use. And once we do that, then the feelings come, the actions come after the feelings, and the result comes from the action. But we have the ability to do that. Because remember, the event happens. It has no meaning until we place a thought, a belief about it. Then that drives the feeling. The feeling drives our behavior or our actions. And the result comes as a natural consequence of what we do. Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? That we have the ability to do that we have the power to do that we are in charge. So if you want a particular result, change the thought. If you want a particular thing to happen, a particular event. I was thinking of some stuff, right? Then change the thought. And how do we inform our thoughts? This is amazing to me. And this is so exciting. We change the thought by reading more, listening to podcasts, listening to other people talk. We change our thought by learning how to have positive self-talk, by having a routine in the morning that sets us up for success through the day, by getting good sleep. Those are all ways to inform the thought. By traveling, by meeting new people, by learning new things, new hobbies, new skills, taking a class, taking a course, getting a coach. We inform the thought, because once the thought happens, once we attach a belief, that thought, to the event, then everything else comes automatically. And we have the ability to do that. Yeah. So that's exciting to me. And like I said, that is a model that is so powerful that I want to make sure that you are taking advantage of that. We will talk more about this as we go on the channel, as we are learning to build a new version of ourselves, as we were learning to take this year, 2023, as our year to be successful. We're no longer allowing things to happen to us, right? We are taking charge of our health. Right. Well, thank you for being here. I want to make sure that you know that you can go over to our channel, DwayneWoodMD.com. DwayneWoodMD.com is our channel. Let me hop over there real quick. If you go to our website, that's DwayneWoodMD. DwayneWoodMD.com, and you can see all of our different items there. First of all, you can see our podcasts. If you know folks who are on podcasts, you can see all of our shows that have been transcribed over there. You can go to our blog. Our blog is growing, right? Lots of information that you can see by heading over there. Our Ready, Set, Grow is coming. Ready, Set, Grow is coming. And that's going to be launching at the beginning of May. So pay attention to that. And then if you're interested in working with me more personally, directly, you can sign up for our coaching program. All right. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us. And we will see you next week. This is Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. And here on the channel, I educate, I empower. I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week.